Welcome to Her Fantasy Football. Hashtag there is no off season. Follow us on Blog Talk Radio / Her Fantasy Football and on iTunes. Also hop over to herfantasyfootball.com and subscribe to our newsletter so you can see what we're up to this off season. You can chat with us on Twitter at Her Fantasy FB and on Facebook / Her Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Courtney Kirby.
And I'm Ashley Williams.
And I'm Brandon Lee.
Oh, it's getting crazy in this NFL season. The draft is a month away. Lots of big moves in free agency. It's exciting. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it and I don't like it. It's kind of like overwhelming, all of it. Like it's like whoa. So we're gonna play a little game as if the draft was tomorrow about who we do and do not like at this point. But let's start off with some big NFL news. Adrian Peterson, guys, predictions. Anything gonna change, Ashley?
I mean, if AP, you're not doing yourself any favors in the public opinion pool here. But let's talk about what we do know with AP, right? So Zimmer says, I'm not going to speculate on what he wants or doesn't want. Adrian's under contract for 3 more years with us, and that's why you sign those contracts. That's why you get these big bonuses, And then he goes on to say, we have no plans to trade Adrian. And then he kind of like stamped it when he was like, I think when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he's going to want to go in with the jersey that everyone remembers him as. That will be as a Viking. And I have to agree with him in terms of, to some extent, it kind of might wash away a little bit of what happened if he sticks with the Vikings versus just like packing up and going to a new team. And newsflash, you don't get a say, Adrian. You're under contract. I'm confused why this is even like an ordeal. And I want to point out that Goodell still, on April 15th, has to decide, the decision on whether he's going to be reinstated. It's going to happen, obviously. But it's like, I'm just completely confused by this entire ordeal here. Rumor has it Dallas Cowboys and Arizona Cardinals are interested in him and whatnot, but and I do love that Bruce Arians refused to make a comment. Do you guys see that today? Where he's like, are you trying to get me fired? That's tampering, dude. I can't talk about another player. I ain't saying jack about Adrian Peterson. I'd get fined for that.
I love Bruce Arians.
Love him.
I love him.
Hat and whatnot. I just love him.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to stay with the Vikings, right? And if he throws this little pity party and refuses to play, he's doing himself an enormous disservice.
I dare a 30-year-old running back to sit out 2 years in a row in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I double dare you. You want to sit out?
He does.
Okay, great. And then you think you're going to make more money at 31 with another team? I don't understand the logic. It literally, it's like he's taking crazy. But it's kind of like that commercial where like the woman posts all of her pictures to her actual wall. This is so much easier than uploading to Facebook, and that woman's like, "That's not how any of this works." That's how I feel about Adrian Peterson.
I like friend you.
No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
And I love his logic that, like, leaving the team would make the situation better and going to Texas. Hello? This is where all your illegitimate children live. Do you really think
No,
that's
they all
the
live in
best
Minnesota. But he brings them to Texas.
Yes. Okay.
Well,
this is where the problems, the crime scenes in Texas.
Yeah, let's be clear.
Oh, that's my thing is, what are you standing on, AP? The Minnesota Vikings aren't the ones that beat their children. You are. Like, why are you pretending like you're better than them, right? You're the victim. Exactly. The Vikings were the victim last year, and obviously the children, but like they're the ones that had to go without their number 1 paid player and still had to pay him.
And didn't throw him under the bus.
And it just, hey, I as a football player, I'm a huge Adrian Peterson fan. He is one of the guys I'm excited to play next year. He will play even if it isn't a Vikings jersey. I know his wife does not want to be there. She hates Minnesota. But you know what? go to St. Louis, you know, go to Buffalo and tell me that that's okay. It's not. I get it. It's Arizona and Texas where it is warmer and nicer, but give me a break. I mean, just give me a break. Minnesota is a fabulous place to live. You're surrounded by great people, and it's football. At the end of the day, it's your job. Put on your uniform and your pads and get out there and play. And you will. And you will, and I think it will be for the Vikings.
Let's have this conversation in 3 years when it's relevant, when you have an opportunity to go to another team.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't blame the Vikings for letting him go. It is a lot of money they have to pay him this year. He's unhappy. It's obviously, everybody knows that he's unhappy there. So give him up for a few trade picks in the draft and start rebuilding your team, again, and get rid of the 30-year-old running back. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think that's a bad thing. I will say if a trade happens or it goes down, it's going to happen before the draft because it's going to involve some draft picks.
But you know what? I'm sick of these prima donnas because, look at somebody like Larry Fitzgerald, who's not exactly been in a primo situation the last few years, and he sits there and he's classy and he doesn't pitch a fit with the organization. He doesn't make crazy trade demands. What is it? What makes it okay for a player to all of a sudden just decide I'm not happy? I'm going to force a trade. I'm going to refuse to play. Okay,
well,
great.
This is a little different. I mean, he didn't play all last year. He was suspended for a whole year. I understand the idea of wanting a fresh start. That's what he wants, right? He wants a fresh start.
He wants a fresh start. New fans that don't judge him, and right.
And I understand that. But the Vikings are a sports organization who would like to win football games.
Right.
And if they drop you, they still have millions of dollars against the cap. It's not terrible, but it still is a problem. And frankly, they're not going to just let you do whatever you want. You don't get to call the shots when you're the one who screwed it up last year. And the Vikings didn't do anything as an organization to deface him in any way. He's doing this all by himself today, and it makes no sense. And speaking of, his agent, Bob the Dog Dogra, ew. I think that's all we need to say. Ew.
But here's my thing with a fresh start.
He rode a camel into when he entered his birthday party. Did you guys see this video?
The dog did?
No, Adrian Peterson rode a camel into his birthday party when he turned 30 this year. It's quite funny. But I just thought to bring up, he's under contract. I've been saying this for over a month. Everyone was bringing him up like he was a free agent, and I didn't understand because I was like, you guys, he's not a free agent. The Vikings aren't just going to let him go. It doesn't make any sense. And, yeah, I also, on Deadspin, there's an article titled, Adrian Peterson is an effing moron by Drew Magary, and I would suggest you reading it because it's every Vikings fan's feelings all wrapped up. They were like, if you could just once have a skill player that isn't a complete idiot, I would appreciate it, Minnesota Vikings. I sat to Randy Moss. It's a really fun video or a fun article, but yeah, I don't understand.
Pull it together, AP. Pull it together.
Put on that purple jersey and have a good time. Come on. All right, the Eagles have made a lot of headlines this offseason with their free agency trades. It's crazy. There's now rumors about what they're going to do in the draft. Maybe pick up a quarterback. My question is, they got Sam Bradford. There's rumors all over the place that they're going to trade Sam Bradford for something else. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Who is really going to start as the Eagles quarterback come September?
My opinion, Sam Bradford. And it's because of the DeMarco Murray pickup. Because they're BFFs. That's why he's there. I think that I'm going to say it's now written in pen that Sam Bradford is the quarterback. Not stone, but it's not a pencil for me. I feel like...
Is it one of those pens that has the eraser on it?
No, although those are terrible. Those are the worst pens.
Those are the worst.
They are the worst. And they don't even really erase. It's stupid.
They don't really write either. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I think the
whiteouts for
starting all 16 games is a question. Although he did start all 16 games in 2010 and 2012, and in both seasons he went for over 3,000 yards. So it's something to think about. I don't think that Tampa Bay or Tennessee is going to let a quarterback slip by them. So unless they literally give up the farm, then I just don't think it's going to happen. In fact, the Tennessee GM said that if Mariota was on their team, he'd be the starter.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. They gave up too many already draft picks for this draft in conjunction with the Foles trade for me to make any kind of logical sense. They literally, like you're saying, would have to give up the organization essentially to make it happen. I'm intrigued with the Tim Tebow working out at camp thing. Right now they say they're not going to sign him, so take a deep breath.
But it was fun for a day.
It was fun for a day to be like, Chip Kelly, you have literally lost your mind. It is gone. It is gone. No, but what's really interesting and why I think Sam Bradford also is going to start, Courtney, is that they actually have compared him to Peyton Manning.
I saw that and I lost my mind.
I can't handle it, you guys.
I need to compute. But what they're saying is, in that lead up to the 2010 NFL draft, they were saying that they evaluate him as the best young quarterback they've seen probably since Peyton Manning came out of college, right? So they're saying out of college, two of them together, same kind of situation. Then they went on to say that, or Kelly said, that Peyton Manning's missed a year, Tom Brady's missed a year, Drew Brees has missed a year, and that if Sam Bradford hadn't missed a year, they probably wouldn't have been able to, get a player of his caliber for what they did. I want to be like, Sam Bradford, A, is not in the same ballpark as Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and B, he's missed more than a year.
Right.
It's, to me, that's his biggest issue, is you can't trust his health. And so, like Brandon said, will he play all of 2015? I don't know. I don't think it's because he's going to get benched for another player. I'm concerned he's going to be healthy for the whole season.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
Sanchez.
Ole, 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 ole.
There's no way they're going to get Mariota. There's no way they're going to get Mariota. But I do think they're going to draft a quarterback. I think that they're going to wait, but I think they're going to get one. There's a few good quarterbacks coming out this year, and I think they're going to wait. They're not going to get him. They're not going to pay to switch up to get him. Everybody wants Mariota. He's a great guy, and for a guy to be able to sit on your bench 2 years, get experience, or I guess start, but I don't know if he's NFL ready immediately, but I do think Philadelphia will draft a quarterback. And I will say that Sam Bradford will play 12 games.
Ooh. I feel good about that number, Courtney.
As a starter.
I think that's a great estimate.
Yeah, I think it's 12. That's what I'm going with. I like it. It's my thing. But I'm not even sure if he's going to stay. To be honest, I think he's I don't know. I'd like him to stay because I do think he is a good quarterback. I do,
we've been a fan of him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't feel ill about him.
No.
It's just a weird situation.
It is a weird situation.
And if anything, I hope he wouldn't be ill-used by them in the sense they draft him and then they trade him away as trade bait to an organization that's not going to start him. That I actually would feel too. I feel they made the trade for Bradford, and then if they get rid of him, it's like trade bait to do draft picks and whatnot. I'm going to feel bad.
I thought maybe we were talking about Mariota again, and I was like, I don't think they'll trade him away. That'd be crazy.
He's
although you never know.
Guy.
They probably can get more from Mariota than they can for Sam Bradford. But our fantasy drafts are a little ways away. But the reality is that I remember we did a draft come the beginning of June. So it is coming up sooner than later, people. So get yourselves ready. We're going to go over some of our favorite and not so favorite players coming into 2015. It's early, but we can still make our bold predictions. So, ladies, if the draft was held tomorrow, who are your top 5 players you're keeping an eye out for, you're pumped up for, ready to play?
Should I go first on this one?
Sure.
I do want to preface, these are not my top 5 players overall. These are the top 5 players from my teams that I cover, which would be far different than who I would actually draft.
Let's not even say top. Let's not say top 5. Let's just say 5 players overall that we're excited about. Yes.
Right. All right. So mine would be Mike Evans.
Definitely your top player.
Ben Roethlisberger. Jamal Charles. Demaryius Thomas / Emmanuel Sanders. And then Joique Bell. Do you want me to go into my reasoning why, or are we kind of all listing it then? Okay. Okay, Courtney, you don't tell me twice. We'll start with Mike Evans. So I'm excited about drafting Mike Evans because, not as my top receiver by any means, but he was the 2nd best rookie wideout last year and the 11th best wide receiver overall, which is a little surprising when you're thinking about Mike Evans being on a pretty crappy team. He didn't exactly have a Hall of Famer throwing the ball his way in Josh McCown. So the prospect of Jameis Winston shouldn't entirely scare you off too much. Because I would have to believe they would at least be somewhat on par. Okay? So, I get it's scary, and it's okay to be a little scared, but this kid showed not only improvement of overall knowledge in terms of the playbook, but each week he was running better routes, which is what I like.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with him is that he was not an overall yardage kind of receiver, right? He's the guy that's targeted in the end zone. If he can add just even a little bit more of that yardage component to his game this year and not just be purely a touchdown vulture, he could be a really, really, really solid wide receiver 2, borderline verging on wide receiver 1. And I think you can get him lower than you would think. So I like Mike Evans a lot.
Love him.
I'm afraid he's going to be like a sleeper that people go really early on. It's not really a sleeper. I'm worried about his draft stock. I'm excited I hope that we're the only people to like him, but we're not.
We're not.
No, I'm okay getting him high. I mean, not super high, but I'm not scared of Mike Evans.
As long as Jameis Winston can stay off a lunch table.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing for me, exactly. It's everything around Mike Evans that's touch and go. But him himself is a true talent, and I think he can come up on top of that regardless of the issues around him.
I agree. I think that the possibility of people being scared around the Jameis Winston situation, which I can understand, may get you. You might be able to get him a little bit lower in the draft. You're right. Someone may reach for him crazy high. It's possible. Totally possible. Kind of get a feel of your room. I wouldn't reach crazy high for him, but then again, he was the 11th highest scoring receiver last year. On the Bucs.
Yeah.
So I mean, Right. All right. My next one is Ben Roethlisberger. For one reason or another, this guy has forgotten him in 2014. He's not respected on the top quarterbacks in the league. I'm not pretty sure why. I get if you don't like him on a personal level. I get it. But don't let it fool you into not drafting him. First off, he has some of the most explosive targets in the league in Antonio Brown, who was the top receiver in the league last year. And guess what? Someone decent has to throw him the ball. And then Le'Veon Bell, who is as much of a target in the air as he is on the ground. So Le'Veon Bell, in my opinion, is the most dual threat, well-rounded, multifaceted, whatever version you want to say for running back in the personal opinion. Both Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell are top 10 picks in the draft. They are no-brainers, and Big Ben feeds that ball. And he was a 5th highest score playing overall last year. But for some reason, people still view him lower than Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, Tony Romo, all of which he had more points and better stats last season with. Just saying.
Yeah.
Brandon like.
Brandon, you need to put people's personalities aside from the fantasy draft, all right? I mean, I think it's just time that we just move on from him being a creepy person.
Okay.
See, Courtney, if he would have pitched a fit and left Steelers and had his fresh start, we probably wouldn't even be talking about this right now, right?
That's right. That's all we needed was an AP trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. His agent was really messed up.
Yeah. He needed the dog.
You can't deny stats. You needed the dog.
It's true. Everybody around him is such a great supporting cast. I feel like there is no one big leader on that team. They all just work so well together, and they just help each other's fantasy numbers huge. And I love drafting from the Steelers. I think it's a smart choice.
And if you want to talk durability versus Sam Bradford, I mean,
Yeah.
Big man plays with broken feet, broken ribs, probably broken hands. I mean, the guy just like plays always.
Well,
You never have to worry about him being out.
you can do that when you don't have feelings. I'm sort of kidding.
Oh, it's so good. Who's your next one, Ashley?
Jamal Charles. I've got some obvious ones here, but there's been some, interesting developments. So that's why they're kind of in my list here. So
What?
again,
Like they got a wide receiver?
yes. So Jamal Charles obviously always is a pick. But with the pickup of Jeremy Maclin, I am oddly optimistic that he will have an even better year this year. I like it. So yes, I know you were thinking that this will actually take away from touches with Charles, but I think this actually opens up the field and opens up Charles' options. So Charles can catch the ball. We all know Alex Smith is a dump-off kind of guy, which plays into Charles' strengths. And the main fact now is that the defense won't be able to crowd the line as much as they had been on account for Jeremy Maclin. So that's going to actually spread the field a bit. Charles was still the 7th best running back, despite being out injured at some games and an incredibly slow start, if we all remember, right?
Yeah.
I expect him to be just as dependable, if not better, in 2015.
Good. I agree. I like it. I think that Jamal Charles is hitting the point where he can't just be the one-man show. Like, he has to have people to have an option, an out, a break. How about that?
Yeah.
Like a water break. I mean, come on. So I think it's a good thing. I'm excited for Jamal, too.
Thoughts,
Nice.
Brennan? Do you like Jamal?
Well, I mean, I'm always for Jamal Charles.
Jamal has feelings.
He probably.
Jamal
I don't
is
know him
actually
personally.
Jamal is actually a very sensitive man, very sweet, does a lot of good work, and is very affected by the things that goes on with his team members. So I saw a very nice interview with him, and it was just,
Aww.
No.
Well,
He's
now
very
I really
sweet.
like him.
Yeah.
Little Jamal.
Well, yeah, and you know that the football player, the Chiefs that killed himself in the parking lot, it was
Right.
Jamal Charles' wife's sister. That was the fiance that he killed before killing himself. So like,
Yeah, that was
and
really
that was
sad.
just like messed him up, and he was, just the way that he recovered and the way he comforted his family. I mean, love him. Go
He's
Jamal.
great. He's great.
Way to rebound with that one, Ashley. Who's your next one?
Again, obvious, but
That
I'm
now.
confused why it's not obvious, is Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. So lots of
Yeah.
people are nervous about these guys because of Peyton Manning, right? Listen up here, people. Peyton Manning was hurt at the end part of last year and was still able to contribute to Demaryius Thomas being the 2nd highest scoring wide receiver and Emmanuel Sanders being the 6th highest scoring wide receiver. We would not be even remotely having all this hoopla about Manning coming back if Manning didn't feel that he could come back and perform to a top level. He's always been
Yeah.
very clear about the fact that he's going to pull himself out of the game when he can no longer contribute to his team. And I think his standard of contributing is far different than most people's standard, as he was the 4th highest scoring quarterback last year. So let's just stop this foolish talk and don't even remotely think about devaluing Demaryius Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think that's bananas. And my husband was listening to Denver Sports Radio today and called me immediately and was like, Phillip Rivers wants to come and be a Broncos after his contract is up next year. And I was like, what? What? So if Crybaby Rivers comes to the Broncos, I still think Demaryius and Emmanuel's stock is still as high.
It is still
I'm telling
a sign.
you.
The Broncos
Not
is
one
where quarterbacks
Wow.
come to die, and I'm actually starting to get into it. I'm like, bring it on. Bring it on. We don't need those Winstons. We, just keep coming. I mean, I would rather Rodgers or Brady come to die, but, I'll take a Rivers. I'll take a Rivers. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll take a dejected Charger.
Yeah,
All right.
no
All right.
Kaepernicks or Bradfords. I don't want any newbies. I want old and sturdy. That's what I'm into.
Which, speaking of our baby Broncos, I want to thank at 5280 Shirt Shop for this adorable hoodie. So cute. And look, and there's
so cute.
I'm on YouTube. You can't see it if you're just listening, but it is adorable. And thank you at 58 Shirt Shop for sending it to me. And it is Bronco swag, classic.
Yeah,
it is. It's really classic. It's awesome.
We'll post a picture on our Facebook and Instagram so people can see it. It's cute.
Yes. So please check it out. But
we'll put Philip Rivers' head instead of yours.
Right.
And yeah, it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect.
Oh,
Ashley, you got another one?
I do. My last one, Joik Bell.
Oh,
Like,
So, I'm excited from this season for the fact that we're finally not going to have a running back by committee situation on our hands in Detroit. Finally.
Right.
Wish you would have taken notes, Saints. But anyway.
Unless they draft someone.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to get to that. So right now they've got George Wynn, they've got Theo Riddick. Riddick will get some touches, but certainly we will not be looking at a 50-50 share situation like we've seen in the past. There was talk about, Ray Rice coming, but Jim Caldwell has made that pretty clear that he does not think that Rice would be a good fit for the team. To basically sum it up, Caldwell does not put up with off-field or on-field issues for that matter. And so, that's just not going to happen. They will more than likely need to pick up a running back, and that will probably come from the draft. They have hosted Todd Gurley and Tevin Coleman, which could pose a threat to Bell. But till anyone is drafted and we see how they are actually playing during camp, I say there is no reason to worry at the moment. In my opinion, at this point, it is Joik Bell's position to lose.
Yeah. Great. Love him.
Yeah.
Always a Joik fan. It might be his name, though.
Probably.
Great or name. The Detroit Lions jersey. It just really gets me going, too. Love those Lions. I do. Brandon, who are your 5 guys that you're pumped about?
Well, I'm going to start with an obvious one, but one that I think we need to discuss, which is LeSean McCoy at the Bills, which, by the way, did you know that they're having coach meetings in the hot tub? I love
Rexy Sexy. Rexy Sexy's press conference, I didn't even hear the words coming out of his mouth. I'm so in love with him. I was like, I love you, Rexy Sexy.
Why aren't all meetings in a hot tub? I mean,
seriously.
If you're going to be in sports, isn't that part of the benefit, is hot tubs?
Absolutely. Sure. You need to relax those muscles. Those coaches are tight.
Tension.
Coaches are tight. Now, sadly, I think LeSean McCoy is probably going to be the first pick of the draft next year if you're in standard scoring. Because Rex Ryan committed to the ground and pound. In fact, he says he wants to run the ball 50 times a game if possible.
Love it. Do it.
Love it. Love it.
Fred Jackson.
Now, I'm still partial for going stud wide receiver in first round if you're in a PPR league, but I digress. The point is that I love him at this position. He actually had, even in, Eagles territory, he had 1,319 rushing yards last year, which was the 3rd highest in the league, which is surprising. And I keep drilling this down because in a bad year, he still was the 3rd highest rusher.
Yeah, it seemed like a really ho-hum year for him. But
because he only scored 5 touchdowns rushing, 0 passing. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
It's hard when you don't get touchdowns. It's really hard.
But
I think change is coming. Change is coming.
I like it. Yeah. I like me some LeSean.
I do too. I just think that if you're not the first 3 picks, there's no way he's going beyond 3 in standard scoring. He may not even go beyond 3 in PPR leagues.
But seriously, what does this mean for Fred Jackson?
Yeah, but Fred Jackson's going to be like a change of pace. Like maybe every once in a while they'll do like a pass. I think
if it's 50 touches.
I know there's no way LeSean's
means Fred Jackson's going to have a huge part of the offense still, right? I mean, if you're in deep leagues, Fred Jackson is a legit pick. I think. I mean, if they're
because you get him at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A good amount of touches for running back is, we're going to say, what, 20 to 35 max per game? That's like crazy town. And if he's talking 50, you're right, Courtney, that
they're not going to do that.
Has to be a component. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if this is the mindset, then that means Fred Jackson is still going to be a component of this game. And he still got it. Obviously, LeSean McCoy is going to take the bulk of those carries. But for a change of pace guy, it might be perfect for Fred Jackson because he is still an explosive player, and if you give him a bit of, time to breathe, it could be great.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy everything that's going on in Buffalo. Even Charles Clay, even though I disagree with the amount of money that they're paying him. Anyway, I would say also DeMarco Murray. Listen. Yes, Dallas has an amazing offensive line. Agreed. That narrative, though, has exploded to a point of delusion. You guys, DeMarco Murray is a really good running back. He's a one cut and go right up the field kind of guy. He's exactly what Chip Kelly wants. He's very excited to play. Yes, 393 touches last year is a lot. I agree. But the way people are already talking him down, it's nuts. So now he's value because you're going to be able to get him on the turn. You might be able to get DeMarco Murray on the turn with a Randall Cobb, and how would that be to the start of the fantasy season?
If you can, congrats, but I don't think so.
Maybe, because if people go with the top receiver for the first pick, which a lot of people are going to do, and I can't say that's a bad choice, you could get him on the turn.
Listen, it's not like he's going to the Jaguars.
League, you got no shot. If you're on an 8-team league, you got a chance at the turn.
I think you have a chance at the turn in a longer league. A lot of people hate him this year.
He's not my favorite. He's not my favorite.
Yeah, there are articles dedicated to avoiding DeMarco Murray in the draft. So I'm saying you might, if you're in even a 12-person league, I think you might be able to get him on the turn.
Yeah.
And I think that is a great value. And now I wouldn't want to take him number 1 overall, like how he finished the season. That would be crazy, and no one's going to do that. But I think that he might be a great corner piece to a team that you're building at the end of the turn. So it's just something to think about. So I'm excited, and I hope I can do that. And that's how I did it this year. I took him at the end of the turn this year. But anyway, on that note, Randall Cobb. So glad he's back with the Green Bay Packers.
Where he should be.
He supposedly took a little less money to stay there. I don't care. He gets all of my gratitude because I'm looking for another 1,000+ season, double-digit touchdowns. It's all the same. And that's what Jordy Nelson doing the same thing. I love it. I love them. I love it all. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love the whole crew. Obviously. I mean, who doesn't love Aaron Rodgers? But, Eric Decker. I'm going to start a hashtag. It's going to be called #RespectDecker.
She's still on the Decker train. I like it.
I have actually now bought like a monthly pass on the Decker train that renews itself. That's right. That's an MTA joke. That's New York.
Yes,
yeah. Got
Just
it.
for people that don't live there. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, so they had this quarterback carousel last year of Michael Vick and Geno Smith. A total nightmare. He was hurt the whole season. For some reason, the GM decided not to spend any money and fill out the team, and they were ridiculously, had just ridiculous amount of cap space. They didn't have the necessary players to win. He was the only wide receiver on the team, the only person the defense looked at. And he still acquired 962 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, it's not as impressive as his Broncos numbers, but it's very close to 1,000 yards. They couldn't even make it down the field, so actually his 5 touchdowns was very impressive when you actually watch the team. But, yes, he did get most of those in Week 17, where he caught 10 passes for 221 yards and a touchdown. But he has talent, and now that he has Brandon Marshall, I love it. I love it. And you know what? I enjoy the Fitzpatrick-Geno Smith combo. I think they'll be able to do something there. I don't hate it.
You're not drafting him high.
Decker?
Yeah.
I'm not drafting him high, but he's a value pick for sure.
I think where you can get him, I think it's worth it. I agree. He could turn out to be that Denver Bronco number guy, 2013. I think that he could be that this year again. So I think it's a good sleeper pick. And his wife's bathing suit maternity shot. Cute. Oh my God, with the matching bathing suit with her 1-year-old.
Precious.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would never do it, but amazing. Props to you, lady. Props to you.
Props to any girl that does a selfie in a bikini. There's no way I would ever, even at my best body, be like, you know what I want to do? Take a picture of myself half naked in a bikini and post it on Instagram. Nope.
Especially when you're, 3 months pregnant,
Never.
It's classic.
Actually,
she looks great.
I'd probably do it when I'm pregnant more so than now because then I've got an excuse when you're pregnant. Be like, oh,
That's
it's
true.
baby.
That's
It's
true.
the baby.
Yeah.
It's all baby. You're right. You're right. Good job, Deckers. Way to keep producing. I'm into it.
That's right.
Who's
And
next?
my last one is Eddie Royal. Now, this is my sleeper pick. Deep, deep sleeper.
Deep.
So he has ties to Adam Gacy and Jay Cutler from his Bronco days, which, by the way, I was on a podcast for the FF Locker Room, and Adam Inman is one of the hosts there, and it was so funny. He didn't know we were sisters.
Really?
That's
I've heard that.
Isn't that funny? So I wanted to bring up that we are indeed sisters, and we're all Broncos fans born and raised, although now we play fantasy, so we kind of know everybody. But so when it comes to the Broncos days, I kind of felt like Eddie Royal had a little pop there. And last season actually wasn't that bad. He caught 62 passes for 778 yards and 7 touchdowns. And when you consider that the Chargers were a disaster zone as a whole on their offensive side of the ball, that actually wasn't terrible.
yeah.
I think that he could have some really decent games. I'm thinking especially in bye weeks, depending on the matchups. If Cutler stays the starter, if they have a moderately okay preseason, I am okay drafting him in my redraft leagues as low as he's going to go.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not even gonna get drafted in lots of leagues. Which, it's just like keep your eye. That's a great pickup. Eddie Royal is
and
legit.
you know what?
He is scrappy. He likes to run down that sideline, and all of a sudden he is open and he is gone.
Especially if you're in best ball leagues, he's
Yeah.
fantastic to pick up because he's good for at least 2 or 3 crazy explosive games a season. He may zero out in some other ones. But if you're in a best ball format, he's a great player to pick up because in those leagues, he's never going to have a game high enough consistently, to be worth it. But in the best ball format, he could blow one of your starters out of the water for 2 or 3 weeks. So know your format, and he's a good option for that.
Love it.
Now, granted, his rookie season was in 2008, and that's also when Brett Favre was a Jet. So
Memories.
Oh, stop it. Memories. Oh, I'm most excited. My favorite sophomore of the year is Mr. ODB. I just cannot get enough of Mr. Odell Beckham Jr. I would not be mad how high you pick that man up. Seriously, yeah. I do not care. I just saw The Football Life with Tom Coughlin, by the way.
Love him.
And I'm like overly in love now. Like every year we do a draft ourselves and we pick who we represent that year and who we cover in the NFL. And I just hope I keep the Giants because Coughlin and I are like we're in a serious relationship.
Rex Ryan love here?
No, not Rexy Sexy.
No, not quite close.
No, because Rexy's just crazy, and I feed off of crazy. But I just love that Coughlin's players like hate him, and then like grow this respect and end up like absolutely loving him and not wanting to play for anybody else. Like I just love that like storyline, I'm just anyways, ODB though is the real storyline coming out of the Giants. Huge numbers last year with 91 catches, 1,305 yards, 12 touchdowns in only 12 games.
That's the crazy part.
That's just the craziest part. I mean, he had very similar numbers to Dez Bryant, who played all 16 games. He's just going to be crazy. I mean, I'm just so excited for him and the organization. You
have no shot at him if you're not a top 5 pick.
Right, and I think he should go that high.
I agree.
He's healthy. He's a freak. It's a consistent play in the Giants. I feel like it's not always great, but it's good enough for fantasy.
I might even draft Eli Manning this year.
Oh, Brandon!
I wouldn't be mad. I would not be mad.
I know. It's just Brandon's hatred of Eli Manning has spanned
especially with Shane Vereen. I love the whole offense
there's
now.
A giant vibe going right now. I like it.
A giant vibe.
It's
See what I did
very-
there?
See, hey, wink, wink.
It's true. It's true. My second player we talked about earlier in the show, but I don't care, guys. I am excited for Adrian Peterson.
Oh.
I'm excited. I think that his value is going to be lower than what it should be in a lot of drafts. And the last time he came back to prove something was when he tore his ACL, and he almost broke the single season rushing record. I think this is round 2, guys. He is a freak. You do forget that this man is a freak.
He is a freak.
And he's been playing on a team that only has just him, like Jamal Charles.
But the difference is he actually wanted to play when he came back from the ACL injury.
Now he's going to want to get paid. That's the thing, is that he's going to want to leave, and now he wants to get paid. So if he has to stay, he's going to prove to another team, again, it doesn't matter that I'm 30, I deserve to play. All the haters are going to hate, and you're going to be able to get him for good value, people. It's true. It's true.
But there's this weird, like, AP love. Like, it was, like, this year in the draft where he's, like, suspended style, and people still draft him. Like, we had people drafting him, like, like, not even, like, last pick of the game.
Well, he did play. He did play. That was what was really sad. There was no reason not to draft him last year.
Yeah, he played
he played the first game. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa. It was Ray Rice that people drafted, even though he was suspended. That didn't make any sense.
Again,
but AP, he was draftable, but people kept him on their team forever.
That's right. That's the thing. They're on his team. I'm just thinking Gordon, people, like, just drafted him again for no reason. Although he could have come back, take him as a late pick. But I think people will still take AP high.
I do too.
But
we'll see.
I mean, I think it's.
I mean, you don't leave AP on the table. I agree with you there, Courtney. But
I think it's going to be a great year. I think it's not just going to be a good year. I do think it's going to be a great year. I think he's going to end up being in the top 4 running backs in the league.
But you would take, like, Le'Veon Bell over AP. LaShawn McCoy over AP.
If AP goes to Dallas, I am taking AP over anybody but McCoy. If AP goes to Dallas, I am taking AP over anybody but McCoy.
Intriguing.
He can play. That offense, I think, is.
It's an interesting thought if he does go indeed to Dallas.
If he stays at the Vikings, I still think he's a great pick. If he goes to Arizona, I still think he's a great pick. I think he's going to stay a Viking, but I still think he's a great pick. I do. My thing.
I like it.
I'm not going to be one of those haters like my sisters.
Haters gotta hate.
That's why I brought him up. It's too controversial.
I am the hater.
Let's talk about that. Yes, you are. I like it.
I do not draft certain people.
You always tell because Brian just goes,
She gets silent. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. It's okay. We live in different states. She can't slash my tires.
And it's not that. It's just, you know what it is? It's for me, I think it's one thing if we're going to talk about daily where I would use someone for a day to make money and then I don't feel bad about it at all. But if I have to cheer for them all season, there is an element of that for me, I'm like, especially if it's like one of the studs, it's too long a season for me to have to be like, yay, I hope you do well. I don't know. I mean, maybe, you know me.
So this means if you're ever on fantasy,
I drafted Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, say if you're ever up the team with Brandon, you know she's never going to pick up Ben Roethlisberger.
Nope.
Or AP now. They're off the list.
What I don't like, you know what? I maybe would have even had a minorly different opinion, but he shows zero remorse and is now playing the victim card. He has literally walked backwards for me. Like, I mean, now he's just blowing my mind where I'm like, I can't, like, you're just out of control. But as far as football's concerned, Courtney's analysis is correct, so you might as well listen to her.
Yeah, so you have to take your emotions out of the fantasy drafts.
I take it out. You know what? These are men with pads and a uniform and a helmet, and that's all I think about. I don't care what they look like in their street clothes. And I mean, I do, like, in that moment, like, you know, like last year I did not draft AP, I did not draft Ray Rice, you know, those kind of things. But time has gone. You have to forgive. Don't always forget that we move on, you know?
Well, and there's some players for your own sanity that you literally never watch. Like, I would never watch Jordan Cameron because all I did was get frustrated the whole game because he wouldn't score his points till the last 2 minutes of the game. Every time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's just one of those people that I will never watch, ever. I just want to see his score.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah, you know, it's
Fourth
like...
quarter Tebow.
Yep.
Well, who does score points throughout the whole game? Dez Bryant. He's an obvious one. He's a great player. He got his money. He's excited. Game on. But what I am excited about that I think Brandon alluded to earlier, Brandon and I, differ a lot here, but that offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys is out of control. They lost nobody. And I don't care if it's Lance Dunbar behind center. I am drafting the Dallas Cowboys running back. Darren McFadden is on my team. I don't care. It's gonna. I just hope that this offensive line gets paid after this year, and they just prove that if we can make Darren McFadden a legit running back in the NFL, we can make anybody a legit running back. And I'm not saying DeMarco Murray's not he's bad and that it was only the offensive line. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's no shame in drafting the Dallas Cowboys running backs.
I would agree, Corn, that the line is legitimately good. They are good, yes. And I will never take away the fact that they are good. But I also will not take away the fact that DeMarco Murray is a fantastic running back.
Absolutely.
You will have vast different points between Lance Dunbar and DeMarco Murray. Now, Lance Dunbar...
Okay. Maybe Lance Dunbar is not going to have a DeMarco Murray 2014 season, but he is going to have a better season. If he is, let's just start there. If he is the main back in Dallas, I think he will be a top 12 running back.
Maybe great.
Yeah.
But if
that's a starter.
But if AP came to Dallas, he would do better than Lance Dunbar. There's just fact of talent.
Yes, AP is a freak. Yes, of course. And I'm not taking anything away from DeMarco Murray. Yeah. I'm not taking away DeMarco Murray's talent. He's great. But he was better behind that offensive line, and DeMarco Murray will not have the season that he had last year going behind that line. I'm sorry, he will not. There's no way. And if he does, I will draft DeMarco Murray the year he retires.
There's no way he'll have the same season because, again, we're big fans of stressing the importance of offensive line here for a multitude of reasons. A strong offensive line helps. Certainly, I agree. I think for me, more what I was saying is that people just keep saying how DeMarco Murray was not that good. And it's like, no, he is that good. He's partially that good because the offensive line. He won't have that same season. There's no way. And Lance Dunbar isn't going to have the same season as DeMarco Murray did. But I agree. I mean, I wouldn't draft Lance Dunbar if he is the running back in Dallas as my number one running back. I'd take him as a number two.
Dunbar? I don't even think you should take him as a number two. I think he is going to go low, and I think he's so worth it is what I'm saying. And I'm not even saying it's going to be Dunbar. It might be McFadden, and this is definitely where you have to keep your eyes. They might draft somebody. They might trade again. You never know what's going to happen and who their running back's going to end up being. I'm just saying that whoever it is a smart person to put on your roster. I'm not saying you need to pick them up high. I'm just saying if you get them, I would feel good about it.
One of our social media questions from Adam Inman was, would you like a Dallas and/or San Diego rookie running back? And I think the answer here is yes for Dallas.
Yes.
I would say no, not really.
San Diego. No. But yes for Dallas. It's the offense, man. So just like the Chip Kelly stuff you talk about, anybody can play in that offense, Anybody
not to the point that they're taking it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Anybody can play behind that line. So
it's getting excessive at this point, but yeah.
Well, let's get off crazy town as we get back to somebody that we all know, AJ Green. Love you. You're still the man. I still am all about you. He had his worst year last year, but it doesn't matter. He's still a legit, people. Do not forget AJ Green. It's great.
We have an adorable video of his wedding up on our Instagram page.
Yes.
His wife is beautiful, and that dress was out of control.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Oh my God.
AJ Green.
Congratulations.
We support
I love
you in your
the
life.
dress. Oh, so good. So good. Yay, AJ Green.
Yay.
Way to be one of the good ones thus far. Andre Johnson. I'm into him
Popped.
too. Pot, sleeper. This is a legit pick, you guys. Not going to be double teamed anymore. Has an amazing quarterback throwing him the ball. A wonderful supporting cast.
He's happy.
He's happy. He's with his bestie again. You know, that coach, she could just eat him up. He seems so sweet. I just think that...
Pagano.
Oh my God. I don't want people to, like, get him too high either. But I am excited for Andre Johnson. I do think this is going to be a great year for him, a comeback year. That doesn't mean he's your number one wide receiver, people.
Agreed.
Don't draft him as number one. You probably, if you're in a really, I don't know. I think you could get him as your number 3 wide receiver in some leagues. I think you will go that low. In some leagues, I think so. You don't think? You think about all the
everyone's
guys.
in love with him right now.
I do
Everyone wants because of
Let
Andrew
that cool
Luck.
down. Let it cool down. Maybe there'll be
Hopefully.
some crazy stuff. It's been a crazy offseason. There might be more.
But people are going to take T.Y. over Andre Johnson, so I think you've got a shot at getting him as your number 3 wideout.
I think some people are going
on
to take
his
Andre
wall.
Johnson. Some people are
No.
losing their minds over Andre Johnson.
Don't do that. That's the best part about Andre Johnson is that there's T.Y. Hilton.
Don't do that.
Fresh legs, like really fast. Don't do that. But I will say the best thing about Andre Johnson, people do complain about his age, is that he has always been a huge, tough wide receiver, and those are the ones that last the longest, people. He's got great hands, and he's tough. He's not super fast. No, he's not going to be like T.Y. Hilton, but he is. That is what he's good for. So don't worry. Don't pay too high. Don't go crazy. That worries me, Brandon. People, don't do that. All right, don't do that.
Now you stressed her out.
Now you stressed me
Sorry.
out. Oh man. Okay, real fast, ladies. A couple players who you were a little scared to draft this year that maybe you wouldn't have been previously.
Well, I will say that I'm gonna go with Jimmy Graham. I'll tell you why. I actually think he'll still be a top 3 guy. I don't think this is like a problem. My problem is I don't know where to draft him. Right. And so it's going to be, doing mock drafts, trying to figure it out, looking at his ADP. So it's really going to determine whether I draft him or not. He might be a great value or he might be a ripoff, but it's going to be hard to tell until we really get closer to the season. So I need to feel that out. So it's making me nervous. And I also wonder if I want to just wait and get like a Travis Kelce or a Charles Clay now that he's in Buffalo. I mean, I think that I wonder about the value aspect of Jimmy Graham going to Seattle, especially considering they don't pass as much. They will pass more with him there. That is obvious. But still, it's tough.
I agree. 100%.
I will also say the Browns. Can I just say the
them
Browns?
all in together?
I'm going to just say the Browns because I have no idea what they're doing as a team.
Right.
They picked up Dwayne Bowe, and when Dwayne Bowe is your stud, there are tons of problems.
Yep.
And it's like Josh McCown is your quarterback, maybe Johnny Manziel, and maybe you're drafting another one. I can't talk about that.
That's my favorite.
The only thing that slightly interests me is the Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell situation, seeing how that works out. But even that is just so dubious.
Yeah, you're really stretching on that.
Yeah, so those are mine.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Mine is Nick Foles. I'm not excited nor scared. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, but I can't commit, if that makes sense. So he's pretty much hurt all last season, but he's lights out the season before that, right? So it's kind of like, where does this leave us? Well, first of all, this leaves the Rams in obviously a much better position than they were last year. But this leaves Foles in a worse position than he was in when he was phenomenal.
Correct.
So where does this leave you? Again, their wide receivers were all hurt last year, and the running back position leaves little to be desired. I'm intrigued. You can maybe grab him as a backup, depending on the size of your league. The Rams are always good for a flex, kind of a sleeper for the wide receivers, and a flex for the running back. But I don't know where you can commit on Nick Foles. That's my thing. I'm not scared. I just don't know where to commit with him.
Right.
And then my next one is Jeremy Maclin.
Oh.
Again, not
Killer.
hating, not loving. So what's
I would think you would love him, Ashley. That shocks me.
Okay, well, here's the thing. So obviously he's no longer an Eagle. He is a Chief now, and he locked up a $55 million deal for 5 years with $22.5 guaranteed. And this was $1 million more per year than the Eagles were willing to shell out.
$55 million for a 0 touchdown.
For 0, it'll be 0. Yeah, right. I mean, and they're saying that they don't think they paid too high. And here's the deal: is that Jerry Maclin actually quietly had a really good season last year. He was the 9th best wide receiver, but it was quiet. Right? I mean, you never really thought about Maclin being a top receiver in the league. You just didn't. And he's always had potential. The thing is, what I thought was funny is that Andy Reid actually said that he felt that Jeremy Maclin and Dwayne Bowe were pretty much even players. Though this may have been a PC thing for him to say. He actually said this in an interview. He goes, but I feel that Maclin gives the team a better deep ball threat. And I can feel Courtney just laughing right now, being like, seriously?
Deep ball threat
with Alex Smith? I know, actually right there, Courtney's going to say, deep ball threat with Alex Smith?
Yeah, what is he, playing safety?
Right. And I will have to admit, that...
He can catch the balls if it's a different quarterback throwing it to him deep.
I mean, Smith had an average season last year, what we expected from him. But Reid must see something that we don't see to draft a player worth $55 million for the deep ball threat when you have Alex Smith. So this must tell me they're going to be willing to open up the ball and let Alex Smith throw it, just chuck it. But nonetheless, I have to say this is a downgrade for Jeremy Maclin. It just has to be. He's still worthy of picking up, obviously, but it's just, I
like that. I'm not a Bengals fan, but they let Andy Dalton throw interceptions left and right. Let Smith air the ball out.
Let him air it out.
A few interceptions, use your defense, and get the ball back. Give it a chance. Let him try. And maybe he doesn't have the confidence to try. I don't know what it is, but. Yeah, I'm interested to see that duo. It'll be exciting.
Yeah.
I think they also needed the leadership of Jeremy Maclin. I get that feeling. I think that Andy Reid really likes him, feels like he's a good energy, wants to bring him to the team. I feel like they paid for things that we don't see as fans as well. Which is interesting.
And he loves Alex Smith. So it's almost like he's doing Alex Smith a favor as well and says, okay, I'm going to give you the receiver and I'm going to give you the reins to throw the ball. Do it. You can do it now.
Yeah, I try not to question Andy Reid too much.
I don't either.
I feel like that's bad
Love
karma.
the man. Yeah.
Love him. I am not too excited about the running backs coming out of the New York Giants. I love them all, and that's my problem. We are now in running back by committee. We've got 3 running backs. Shane Vereen, love him. Rashad Jennings, great. Andre Williams, fabulous guy to have behind them. But that is just constant sharing. And Rashad Jennings came out and said, oh, Shane Vereen just makes us a better team, blah, blah, blah. And it's true, he does. But in fantasy-wise, it scares me. I'm afraid we're falling into the Saints. One catches, one runs, one gets hurt, the other one's not as good. Don't
say the Saints. Don't say
I'm
scary,
hopeful.
but why? Why?
I see why it's scary, Courtney.
Yeah. I mean,
scary.
I would still, Rashad Jennings, listen, he gets injured a lot. And so does Vereen. But Vereen has that, he catches the ball, you know, and has so many yards after the catch. I think it's a smarter choice. But, you know, Rashad Jennings is great, too. This is my thing. They're both really good. I wish Vereen would have been used more with the Patriots so people could really see how great he is. But now he's got another team with 3 running backs.
But don't you think that at least I think they're going to use Rashad Jennings as the main guy, and they'll use Vereen out in space for receiving, essentially. I'm hopeful.
Yes.
Either way, it's still nervous for you to draft somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they don't have any receivers to throw to. You know, it's like
right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're going to be going to Vereen a lot. Like, there's a lot of people to share the ball to.
A lot of people.
And ODB is going to be getting the majority of that.
And Victor Cruz comes back.
And Victor Cruz comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot of threats on that team. It's a little overwhelming for me. And my last one is the New England Patriots defense. I've always loved drafting them, and you know, they've had some really good games. They were sneaky good last year. They lost a lot of guys this offseason.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the same defense. So, just warning you, don't think of the Patriots Super Bowl winners. Think of Patriots 2015. It's a different team. This does mean that Gronk is going to get the ball more because they're going to have to air it out, which just ups Gronk's. Ups it up. Number one. He's number one, people. Didn't mention him, but we all know.
Love him.
Most popular guy in America.
Gronk to remember. Well, that's our show, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hop over to herfantasyfootball.com to subscribe to us and Blog Talk Radio /herfantasyfootball. You can also listen to us on iTunes and chat with us on Twitter at herfantasyfb and on Facebook /herfantasyfootball. It's been good. We'll see you next time. Until then, no more faking it.